sellers. Today I wanted to talk to you about the cost involved in selling your home. Now you may just be thinking, I'm going to sell my home and I'm going to get a large check at the end. And maybe that's true depending on how much of a mortgage you might have to pay off, but there are also a number of costs involved, and these costs could be happening before you put your home on the market, during the time under which you go under contract to which you get to the closing table. Usually it's about 30 days, but it could be longer, and to the day of closing itself. So I want to walk you through these different time periods and the costs that you may run across during that time. So the first thing is before you even put your home on the market. Now maybe your home is immaculate and it's in show-ready condition, or maybe your home is a tear down, maybe you're selling it as is. So in some of these cases you might have no costs at all. But in other cases there could be some cost to getting your home ready to sell. And some of that just might be doing some fixes and repairs, or maybe doing some staging or just freshening up your house. And you may want to consider doing that just to circumvent some of the potential buyer objections that are going to come up. Or maybe it's a very stagnant seller's market right now, and so there's a lot of competition, homes aren't really moving. You may have to do this in order to be competitive. So there could be some costs in that side of things. Also, sometimes sellers might pay to have their home pre-inspected so that they can share this report and this information with buyers that come along. That might help your selling process. And then also sometimes, not as common, but sometimes sellers also get their home appraised before putting it on the market. And this might especially be more common. Say you have a home that's very unique, or that's in the mountains and kind of in a rural area where there isn't a lot of great other homes to use as a comp to figure out what the true value of the home is. So in that case, you may also decide to get your home appraised. And an appraisal usually is going to run you somewhere on average around $1,000. So the next cost that you might see as a seller, and you also might not, but while you're under contract, the buyer is going to have your home inspected. Now the buyer is the one that pays for that inspection typically, but there could be some costs that come up because of that inspection. It could be that the inspector says something's wrong with your home, and you as a seller may want to pay to have a second opinion, maybe bring some professional in. It's not that uncommon sometimes. But also when it comes to having these items fixed, these items that the buyer brings up and says, hey, I object to this, I want you to either fix these or give me a credit. So you as a seller may be spending some money to get something in your home fixed, or you may also be saying, to settle this issue with the buyer, I'm just going to give you X amount of money at closing. So those are the more typical costs that might come up while you are under contract as a seller. And then finally, there is the day of closing itself. The first big cost that you're going to encounter if you have a loan on your home is that amount that needs to be paid off to your lender, so there's no longer a lien on the home. Next is if you have an HOA, there may be some costs associated with paying off that last month or last quarter of your HOA fee, but sometimes HOAs may also have a cost involved that's called the status letter or the transfer fee. These could be one or two costs, and that might also come up for you as a seller. Next are the title company fees. The title company, oftentimes when you go under contract, but it could differ from area to area, the first initial fee for the title company is maybe around $400, and around here it's often split 50-50 between the buyer and the seller. So that first title company fee for you as a seller may be around $200. And then the next is the cost associated with the title company providing a whole history. They look over the history of your home to be sure that there's clean title, because this is something that you need to provide to the buyer. So this may cost you around $2,000. And sometimes if you've only owned your home for a couple of years, there could be some savings involved because the title company doesn't have to do as much work looking through past information on your home. But you should just have in your mind to expect to pay around $2,000 for this. And then the next cost that's most likely going to come up is property taxes. Property taxes are paid in arrears. So let's say that you are selling your home in 2020, and then the buyer buys it, and then come around in 2021, they're going to have to pay the property taxes for 2020. Now, they didn't own the home for that entire year, so they should be having some money coming from you, the seller, that can go towards when they're paying in 2021, they're paying the property taxes of the year before. So this is money that the title company is going to collect and give to the buyer. to understand what this might cost, you should really just look at your past information for property taxes. You can go to county records to get that information, or you can talk to the title company. They can look it up for you, but it'll help you have in mind about how much could you expect to be giving over to the buyer at closing. And then the next, there are a couple costs of money that might be withheld. And so first, the title company was probably going to be withholding some money from you for water and sewer taxes. Now, this really depends upon how your bills are paid in your area. Around here on the Front Range, it's common that this is money that goes to the city but happens afterwards in arrears. And so the title company is holding on to the money so that they can pay that off for you, because at closing, the title company is actually the one that transfers this utility bill from the seller over to the buyer. So, once this bill comes due, the buyer's already going to be living in the home, so the title company wants to be sure that they have this money to pay it off. And if there's any extra, they will send that money back to you. And then finally, there could be, if you have an agreement with the buyer that you are going to be renting the home after it sells, so you can have a little bit of time for your transition and your next move, it's possible, depending on how you wrote up your post-closing occupancy agreement with the buyer, there could be a security deposit. And it might be, maybe you just work it out with the buyer about how those funds are happening, or maybe both of you guys have decided that the title company is going to hold on to the money. So whatever that security deposit amount is at closing, the title company is going to withhold that money. They're going to charge you for it, and then sometime later they're going to mail it back to you if there were no issues that came up once you moved out for the buyer. And then finally, this is usually the biggest cost of all when it comes to selling your home, are the real estate agent's commissions. Usually in total, for paying both the listing agent's commissions and the buyer's agent's commissions, oftentimes it is the seller that pays that, and in total it's usually around 6% of the sale of the purchase price. So that's one more thing that you can take into consideration when it comes to the cost involved in selling your home. I hope this helps. Best of luck in selling your home.